What is going on, everyone? Theo Vulkan here. I hope you are all doing great. I am, because today we have some very exciting matches to watch. We are in the playoffs of the World Cup. Now, what's the format? So, it's slightly different from previously. Now, we don't need to make points. We just need to advance. We just need to beat our opponent. So, how do things go? Well, every player faces each other in a best-of-3 match. And when you win that best-of-3 match, you score 1 point for your team. And then the team who has 2 points, or 3 of course, moves on. So that is that 3 best-of-3s that are played. 1 player from each team faces one of the player. And the winner scores a point for their respective team. And then the team with the most points advances. So, I will talk about how France did later in this video. First, let's look at the standings between Canada and Asia. ReksKolt is playing for Team Asia, and LCFR will be playing for Team Canada. These teams haven't faced each other so far. Asia was in Group A and Canada was in Group B, as it is for every match in the quarterfinals. And this is the first game played between those two teams. So no matter who wins this match, the other team can still advance if their 2 other players win their respective best-of-3. This is still very important to win this one, because obviously you score 1 point and then there is only 1 point left to score. So let's see who is able to win this. Before we get into the matches, ReksKolt plays Khârn, Santar, and Vulkan. And his opponent LCFR runs Canis Vertex, despite the nerf of the disparate defense. He also runs Arascid Nassaud, the Custodes Warlord, and Horus Lupercal, the War Master. So, let's jump into the first match. So we see Canis Vertex against Santar. And I think that ReksKolt was not expecting Canis Vertex because of his Khârn. It's a very one-sided matchup for Khârn, and it was quite the bold move for LCFR to open with this Canis Vertex. But it paid off. He did not face the Khârn, so let's see if he can seize this advantage into winning the first game. You don't want to keep Lord Marshall against Canis Vertex because it can get traded very easily by the 2 clause. You don't want to keep the veterans too, they will get killed right away. And also you don't want to keep the Manifest Destiny because it's much better to play Server Arm on 5. Okay, so now ReksKolt fishes for that second Server Arm, and what will be best will be an asteroid build here. I don't know if he runs 1 or even 2, I don't have his list. But what I'm sure of is it will be very nice to accelerate 1 entire turn toward that. So now he draws the hammer, and with that card in hand, and also the Fall of Cardinal, now he has the good hope of actually getting rid of the Laser Blasters and of the Flaming Claws. So we see that he starts facing the Laser Blaster. Now this is something regular you do as a Canis Vertex. You swing with 1 fist at a time, and you shoot with 1 shoulder at a time. This way you deal constant damage to your opponent, and also you keep your body parts available in case he plays something painful, such as the Chariot Squad, the 2-3. We see Win of the Week drawn, which will be good for the vehicle that has been drawn with supply lines. He breaks the shield, because he will have to at some point, and he decided to go for the body parts, and also LCFR keeps swinging with his fists, so overall he has a very decent chance of simply getting rid of everything. We see that mortar, which is very painful. It's gonna deal a lot of damage each and every turn. And another firm cruiser. Well, the hand is not that great. Like, it's all very expensive. Surely we have 7 in hand. I can't count. Yeah, 7 cards in hand. But all of them are very expensive, and we can only afford to play one at a time. Like, even next turn, for example, we can't even play Win of the Week with Server Arm. We will be very glad to draw Harvest Lighter or Drilling Site. That would be very good. Because the second border also comes in, and the pressure from those fists and Laser Blaster just keeps going. And I think we're gonna see a load up here. Okay, he decides to go for the shooting with his blasters. A bit of a hurry, I think. He wants to kill ReksKolt the turn after, so might as well just load up his two shoulders before the server arm can proc the healing. Okay, so we see Wheel of the Week. He needs to kill the Mora, he doesn't have the choice. Goes for the Cherek Squad, and he hopes he can survive next turn, or maybe destroy all of the body parts with his armor next turn. That seems like it's gonna be very hard. I also see a 4 here, which is very unlucky, because this allows for an exact lethal Planetary Purge, and we'll see an Informant Network. Yeah, I already watched the games. That's a bit of a shame, because maybe with this card in hand, he had actually very decent chances of destroying all of the body parts from the Canis Vertex, like, for example, swinging twice into a shoulder with 10 HP, or maybe just swing into the fist if LCFR swing with his fist. So LCFR pretty much needed to get rid of that Cherek Squad, and it would have been something to do. Anyway, that first game goes to the Canis Vertex, and I'm actually kind of surprised that this Warlord works in tournament. This is something I will have prepared against. Moving on to the second game. So this is Conquest, which means that LCFR cannot play his Canis Vertex again. He has to win either with his Horus now, or with his Arascid Nassaud, should he lose this game. Or he can also play Horus another time. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the mulligan. We want Alex's Nebula in this matchup. Captain Cargos comes in too late. Mortar Strike is good, but we kind of prefer to fish for the Carapace and the Server Arm, or also the Manifest Destiny. Abundant Supplies is excellent to have in the first round. If we can do into Server Arm with it, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. Here comes the Carapace, which is also a good draw on Abundant Supplies, but we're glad we have it in hand. We draw the Cherek Squad, which is good. It is 3 HP 3 points of damage that will go into it, and some good damage applied to the Horus. Like 2, it's fine. And we see it falls to the Grover Squad. It's a very good answer for the Horus. If he didn't have it, it would have been much more painful to get rid of that Cherek Squad. He did have it. It's okay. Now he doesn't have it anymore for the Jubak Salsa. Okay, so we will phase bash into that Grover Squad, of course, in order to protect our Jubak. We don't want to play our counter-attack just now. We will have better targets to play it onto. We copy that outflank, which could be very good. For example, we could get rid of the Saga Targos next turn, should he play it. And here we see Drilling Sight into Quickfire, which is very expensive just to get rid of a 2-1. But it does protect the 5-4, because trust me, ReksKolt would have been glad to send that Jubak Star Sight of his into there and just finish it off with his counter-attack, or maybe with his Warlord ability if LCFR had gotten a mark of Cinch, for example. Anyway, we see another Draining Sight. He probably top decked his Karak Squad and then was able to play it with the Draining Sight. The luck kinda compensates here, because if we had saw the Cinch mark, then the Wild Ping could have gone into it, and that would have resulted in the same ending. So not tremendous luck from ReksKolt here. He does hit the 1 in 3 of the good mark, but then his pings could have made it up for it. Okay, Horus keeps on applying a lot of pressure with his very good curve. Both pings go into the 7-5, which is slightly unlucky. It's 2 points of damage that were missed on the Horus, but again, he got an offensive mark, no health point, no bonus health points, which would have been bad because it would have meant that Santar would have been forced to attack into it. The change mark would have meant 6 points of damage more to the face, which is a lot against Horus. It's key in this matchup to simply keep your health as high as possible, and that means not taking any point of damage from the board, or as few as you can, obviously. So now we have the time to play that Severan, and that's very good against Horus. He had a dead turn, he can't play a troop every turn, right? And we use that immediately to develop our Severan, because we might not have the time later on. If we have some board to answer, we can play Severan, and we can't afford to take damage from the board. Not too much, at least. So now we have the Medius in Carapace, and we have the Severan that is turning. So all we need to do is just hold on just a little bit longer, and that frontline plus ward is exactly what we needed here. Now he can burst them down this turn, and he can actually put in any point of damage, even a Grogu squad and face bash. These things are prevented by the frontline from the Captain Caragos. So Horus does the only thing he can do, which is putting more board and drawing more cards, maybe hoping to burst Santar down the turn after. But at the very least, now we healed for 3 points of health, and it's gonna be very hard for Horus to get past that. We play Command Bridge, and we top deck the Hammer. And that Hammer is gonna seal the game, because we deal 5 points of damage to the entire board. So we completely negate everything that Horus did in his previous turn. He barely drew a card, but he could not seize board control, and we also dealt something like 12 points of damage to him this turn. So if you compare the situation to what it was a couple turns ago, it's huge in favor of Santar, and now Horus is just doomed. He can't kill now, he doesn't have any board pressure, he can burst us down, we do have the healing implemented, and actually we will simply have lethal next. We see also a last rifle in this list, which is something that surprises me. We see Lord Marshall, and I'm not sure I actually run these two cards, so I'm very thankful to ReksKolt for sharing a bit of his list, because this will help me building my own Santar. I also play him, but I have a slightly different approach. So overall, a very good thing that ReksKolt agreed to come into the lodge and shared his matches. Many thanks to him. So now both players are tied 1-1. So that means that whoever wins the next game wins the match. ReksKolt won with his Santar, so now he can play Vulkan or Khârn. No, or Khârn, sorry, not the Khârn, of course. And LCFR won with his Canis Vertex, which means he can play either Horus or Arascid Nassaud. Now the thing is, Horus is highly favored against Khârn if I trust people who play a lot more Horus and Khârn than I do. So I expect, actually I know, that ReksKolt will go for his Vulkan. Recognizing that, LCFR does not go for the Horus, he does choose to go for the Nassaud instead. Horus versus Vulkan isn't a matchup I've played that much, but this one I've played a couple of it, and I feel like it's slightly in favor of the Vulkan. Many things can happen, of course, but I feel like it's very hard for the Nassaud to hide on your troops, and you can just, as a Vulkan, completely control the Nassaud and have enough health to prevent him from bursting you down. That survival thing is really helpful. I feel like you just need to sit and answer everything the Nassaud plays, of course, if you can, and things will roll very smoothly. So we see a double warlord ability with just one Lactation Imitatus. It's always scary when Nassaud builds up a big hand because he gets closer to that OTK turn. The reasonable amount to expect is something like 20 damage in one turn. With if he plays Orders from Terra, I think you should in a tournament, although I haven't played in Nassaud to be sure about that. So we played the supply lands the turn before, and we did the Mortal Strike, which is very good against Nassaud. 6 HP is quite a lot for him to take down. And yeah. Okay, there are many things to say here. So he decided to go for the Rastan because he knew the Nassaud could not hide the next turn. So he wants to swing while there is no precognition. He goes for that Ashen Bones because his hand he already have enough things to play. So he wants cards that allow him to answer to what his opponent will do. He also has the Rifle in his hand, which is very good for now, and that will allow him to proc that Ashen Bones. So we see the network alongside the Melgator. One of these two cards was discounted via abundant supplies, so we are glad that we see. It's always a relief when you see that the card discarded, the card on which you had a discount with abundant supplies is not something that will apply a lot of pressure. Like, for example, a Dreadnought Element here would have been a lot more scarier, or for example, this alongside a Lantern Knight. I don't know exactly if you in Nassaud plays Lantern Knight, but that would have been scary. Okay, so now ResksKolt has a couple options. He could very simply get rid of the veterans with Last Rifle and Ashen Bones, but I really like this play because stunning this denies a card, it denies the attack, of course, except if Nassaud has his Firefly in hand, but you can expect that. But so to do something about it, well, he will play it at some point. It was worth the risk. Yeah, I got it right. So, and also developing this is excellent against Nassaud. As soon as you can do it, you usually should, because it's very hard for Nassaud to get rid of the Vulkan squad, and it is something that can shoot him each and every turn for 4 more points of damage. And now, because we kept that Last Rifle and Ashen Bones, we are able to get rid of his entire board. We have a very decent board control here, and we can shoot him every turn with that Vulkan squad. There is a Hydra coming in, and we're feeling very confident at that point. So he does not choose to hide, which probably means he has something else to play. That is Zulan. And an Alexis Nebula. Okay, he really doesn't want the Zulan die here on the 3-3. Okay, so now that we have time, we'll just play the Hydra and use the counter attack, because as soon as you can heal one of your troops with the counter attack, you should play it. I really like the fact that he does not go face. He recognized that all he has left to do is just killing that Zulan, and then the game is under control. Okay, so looks like we're going to be able to shoot at Zulan, but he decides to go for the Eagle, and that's something I find I kinda don't like this idea. You have a very decent control of the game here. If it continues like this, you're gonna win it. We are in a situation of soft lock, if you guys are familiar with this in other trading card games or collection card games. So the idea is that if nothing abnormal happens, we are probably going to win this. Denying another card is also very good, and having a free trade, it is bad, but it's only going to save him 3 HP on that troop, and most likely he can't get rid of everything, and also even if he does, he won't be able to draw any card until then, and he only has 3 cards in hand. So if you give him that Eagle and you kill the Khârn, he's gonna play with just 1 Eagle and we are going to play many troops to survive, or maybe another Mortar to take him down. We're gonna take another card with the Jewbag, draw more with the Devastator. So I think we're in a very safe spot. It always sucks to leave an Eagle on your opponent's board, but I think it was actually a safe play, but it was maybe a bit too safe to my taste. Anyway, we should be able to kill that Khârn next turn, and we also develop our Jewbag Starside. We saw an AoE already, so we're pretty confident that this will just be another painful field for opponent to get rid of. Okay, I do believe the Chaplain Xavier was played this turn. Maybe we could have given Survival 1 to the Dewback, but it was a very intricate turn and you need to play half of it in order to not get caught by the timer. So, a very reasonable mistake. And since the Dewback didn't even die, this should be fine. But now we see that the Vulkan squad died, and now we can't get rid of that Khazulan, who is very healthy. We can't even kill him with the mortar. We're gonna try and damage it nonetheless. I kind of think that this Attack Epidemic is also slightly too slow. We need to recognize that this Khazulan is a big mistake. I really like the Survival one on the Dewback, because maybe Nassaud plays the Sabotage or the Euphoria. But anyway. Okay, also, we should note that the Nassaud only had 4 cards in hand, and it was slightly unlikely, I would say, that he will be able to do 4 points of that damage into the Vulkan squad, and then 3 more, because he had a bonus survivor with this. He doesn't have the spear so far, so overall kind of like. Anyway, here, we have the mortar loaded, we have a front line to protect it, and our opponent only have 4 cards in hand, but he has 12 cards in deck, and 2 of these cards are my Kylo and the other AoE, which really sucks for us. It's really bad. The Dewback also has Terror, because the Mark of Chaos that was played into it was a Mark of Sanish. And now things are pretty messy. He does choose to give Survival 1 to the Dewback. Why not? Why not? Both were good, I guess, on the Dewback and on the mortar. And we also still have a front line, and that mortar might get rid of that Khazulan. We still have 6 points of health on that, 6 points of attack, sorry, so no value trade from the Dewback, most likely. From the Khazulan, sorry. And now we see another area that was created by Khazulan, and we didn't play around that. And that's kind of what I meant when I say you need to take it very slowly against Nassaud. Well, most of the time it's because of the Auric Mortalis, not because of an Eschaton Imperative created by a Khazulan, but that's kind of the idea. Now, anyway, we still have a Vulkan squad and a front line to protect it. So we have very good chances of shooting down that Khazulan next turn, and then everything should be fine. Now we see a Fierce Onslaught created by Khazulan, and that's the perfect tactic. He does get his second Hunting Eagle, and he does get that perfect tactic on it. So he will be able to clean Vulkan's entire board, and now we do have a very big problem. Because what's happening here is that he still has a card generator, and he does have something that is pretty much unkillable. It's a shame that the hammer, not the hammer, I mean of course, but the equipment, Vulkan's hammer, Vulcarus I think, is at the bottom of the deck. It would have come very handy here, because now if LCFR has anything, basically, it's game over. This is not anything, but maybe if he's forced to trade into that, then it will be good. But he gets not very lucky. I mean, any group would have done it, most likely. But he does get that Letitia Divitatus, and with that, the +3 attack. And with that, it's game over. Because now he can get rid of the 2 troops and deal 8.9 points of damage to Vulkan. And this is gonna be impossible for Vulkan to come back. So we will need something like Ashen Bones, and I don't know what. We don't have the Preternatural skill to maybe answer everything. To maybe, it will give us another gem for sure. But now the Nassaud has his spear online, and yeah. We need to do this in order to hope that we can somehow deal the 8 points of damage next turn. Maybe hope that he's forced to trade into the 5-6 with his Khazulan, but he doesn't even have to, and because of that Sentinel, we can't even draw into all Volcaris. So yeah, that sounds like game over from that point. With the spear, it's a lethal. So 7 plus 3 gets rid of it, and then with the Bloodthirst he can swing again with the first strike or with the Kizulin. Plenty of different ways he can kill the Vulkan here. So yeah, overall, LCFR got, I think he got lucky in his draws and in his pulls from Kizulin. He did have the second copies of cards at a couple points that were extremely clutch. I'm thinking of that Solidati, which allowed him to get rid of that Volk squad. I'm also thinking of that second Auric Mortalis coupled with the Michaelo with a hand that only had 4 cards in it. So these 2 times, these were like pretty unlucky for ReksKolt. He did play it at his best though. He played the Alexis Nebula alongside his Zulan because he reckoned that this was his main win condition. He did play around it, and if I were to put one blame on ReksKolt, you have to put one in playing 3 games against such an excellent player as LCFR. It's very hard to be perfectly flawless. It is going for the obvious play of killing the Empty Eagle, a big turn 6 scary Custodes, whereas perhaps it could have been a bit more safer in the long run to get rid of that Zulu. That was extremely well played nonetheless from both players. I really liked most of ReksKolt's plays. I thank him very warmly for coming in the lodge and chairing his 3 matches. That first game with Santar was also a bit unlucky. I think the 2 mortars are required to take down Santar before his 2 server arms get online and simply completely prevent Canis from ever killing him. So I do believe it was a very good matchup for Santar. It's very unfortunate that he lost. It was really well played. Santar against Horus. It's really, I think Horus and Paracher, mostly Horus, is one of the main reasons why Santar was brought by so many people in these playoffs, and yeah. Okay, so these were very good games, and before I leave today, I want to show you guys the current standings. So here it is. This is the sign-up for the World Cups, on which there are all of the matches. So if you want to see who's playing which warlord and what are the current standings, you can look at the teams here. Some of them got eliminated, of course, but not all of them. About half of them still remain. So you can do that. The link is in the World Cup channel from the official Discord. I invite you to go there. And here are the current standings for now. Apologize if I spoiled you of anything, but here how it is. So Asia played 1 game only against Canada, and Canada won that first one. Pirate Lae against Spellbreaker is going to be an amazing match, and I do hope Grumpy Ghost and Be a Bearer will be a very good match too. I know Grumpy Ghost definitely has what it takes to put up a great show. I don't know Be a Bearer, but he got here, so he's gotta be a great player too. Germany won against the Nordics. Nordics were kind of favored, because they ended up first of their groups. Yeah, so we see Mr. Midnight beat Lurifax. Wow, Lurifax is an excellent player, and X87 is a very good player. You can find some of these games on Mr. Midnight's channel. I will put the link in the description. Australia won against USA. I do believe it's mostly because Vapix did not face Diamond. Vapix is Australia's best player in this tournament, and USA was praised probably Diamonds. So if the best player would have faced the worst one, it would have been kind of a waste of Vapix's skills. You can find Vapix versus NumberJuan on Vapix's channel. It's pretty outrageous game. We won as friends against Belarus plus Ukraine. I do believe it was 3-2 once. but we did get a pretty convincing win. Okay, so that was it for today. Many thanks for watching this video, and I will catch you very soon. Take care of you all.